Welcome everyone. Um, yeah, so today I plan to go over some games from the recent uh the recent tournament in Brazil, the finals of the Grand Chess Tour. And in particular the final match between MVL and Caruana. I thought like these blitz games were, yes, they were blitz games, but they were quite instructive, I thought. I will start with the games that MVL was white. They actually had an interesting Sveshnikov, some debates in the Sveshnikov. So for those of you who play Sveshnikov, yeah, it's the good games to study. So this is the first game they played in that match in the finals. Um, and okay, this one, Bishop G7, Queen here. White kind of misplayed it. They played this Queen D2. Castles FC3, King H8, Knight C2. Takes and takes. Okay, so here we have an important position. Um, what do you think black should play here and why? So this is the first important position for today. So black to play. So yeah. So black to play to try to find the best plan here. So black to move here. Yeah, everyone wants f5, I see. Maybe copying of each other also a little bit. Okay, some people are saying Queen H4. Queen H4 is interesting. I'm not so sure about Queen H4. I'm guessing Queen H4, maybe I can play f4 and then like you're kind of exposing yourself to like Knight C7 or something. Um, so f5 was played in the game, by the way, but it was not the most accurate. There's a better move here. It's the most tempting move, but we have to try to consider opponent's responses. Now, in the Blitz game, it's understandable that black played f5, but there was a better move for black. You know, the best move gives black some advantage, but after f5, white is okay. Knight a5, most likely I can play knight e3 and I'm attacking your rook, getting the f5 square. I suspect that the white's doing pretty well here. Rook b8, maybe still I can play something like knight e3, or maybe even knight f4. The correct move is rook c8. This is a very important move, because then You want to play a 5 next move, but you get rid of the tempo. You're protecting the knight. After something like this, black is probably better in most of the lines. But black played a 5 immediately. And now, what move does white play here? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's pretty simple. Yeah, knight f4. Of course, knight f4. Yeah, and I'm guessing Fabi missed this in a blitz game, and this is already a bit annoying. Um, so black responded with bishop d7. White took, take 96. So black is losing the exchange. How should black respond here? Black's still okay, but there's only one move after they're one line after which they're okay. So white. Okay. Yeah, so queen h4 is important. And white will probably take the rook. And now you have to go for the draw. Bishop takes g2. And this. Bishop
Hey,
h6.
Alex. Alex, do you mind? Can
Yeah,
you hear me, by the way?
yeah.
Do you mind if I just make a real quick announcement to the
Sure,
class?
sure, 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 sure.
I put it on the sign-up sheet, so all of you may have seen it, but for the first time, we're going to do like a short online camp. It's going to be December 6th and 7th with Johan Helston. It's going to be about 8 to 10 hours. We're going to pick like maybe 6 to 8 kids, but you have to sign up for that, and we'll pick some people to be part of that first one. And if it goes well, we'll do it more often. The sign up page is on the same site that you use to find these classes. And just let me know if you have any questions and enjoy the class. That's all.
Mhm. All right, perfect. Yeah, so in this position after bishop h6, I guess f4 might be the problem, right? Yeah, I thought f4 is like good. Yeah, because then you eliminate all the bishop takes g2 ideas, right? Um, but it seems like there are other ways to play as well, like here. And if this, then yeah, g3. Yeah, okay. Anyway, um, so black played queen f6, knight takes, bishop h6. Similar idea, but here it just turns out there's not enough compensation. Yeah, and white eventually won the game. All right, let's look at the next one. Another game between MVL and Fabi. Now this one, MVL could have potentially won. Um, but let's see. So again, I'm gonna go through the opening quickly. And this time, white responded better. Didn't play this queen d2 move, and instead reacted much better. And yeah, white got an advantage this game. I'm gonna go through this part kind of quickly. Um, all right, let's see. Um, hmm. Knight d7, h3, and rook c4. All right, what should white play here? Oh, I mean, white. I think white's better, yeah. White's much better if you place correctly. The white to move. What should we do here? Yeah, so yeah, white should play bishop g4 here. Um, there's a pretty nice point to it, yeah, because if you play like knight f6 is the best, but then you trade off their best piece. Like rook e7 in the end. Um, yeah, the point is also that if you play rook takes e4, I was thinking actually knight c6 immediately, but yeah, there's like some problems, right? Like here takes, and then here. And if queen e8, we have this. And there's like some issues with black's position. They probably need to go queen g5, but yeah, then in the end you have this. And then here you have double attack. Although, to be fair, even rook d7 is like advantage. Why not bishop e2 move 1? Well, rook takes e4, maybe it's not so clear. And then like what's the follow? Bishop d3 probably. Ah, then rook takes b4, knight takes b4, knight f6, and yeah, probably black has good compensation for the exchange. Yeah, very good question, Sharath. Um, yeah, very good question. But yeah, bishop e2 is interesting, but bishop g4 probably best. White actually missed this, and then after queen g5, yeah, here black got a very good position. And then rook takes c3 was like a nice combination, and in the end, like they reached an equal position. But here white kind of suffered. The bishop on f3 is not that great. Its position is objectively equal, but it's annoying for white to play, especially in the blitz game. Black has like more active pieces, like a target, and black ended up winning this. Knight d7, knight f8 was a nice plan, by the way, repositioning the knight. Um, and then around here, yeah, this is where white moved the king to wrong squares. So where should the white king go, and why? Yeah, I think people are getting it here. Yeah, it's king h3. And then this we have rook b2. Yeah, and we have enough counterplay here. But it's like not easy to find it in the game. A white bet king of 1, which is natural, but now black can play what here? Yeah, exactly. Rook c6 also maybe, yeah. No, rook c6 actually is a mistake because then bishop d1 and then king e2. So you need to actually play rook a6. In general, as a rule of thumb, you want to move the rook further away from the check so that there's like less checking distance because as a general rule of thumb, right? After king e2, you have like f3, king d2, and then the rook's not hanging. You're gonna have like more ideas here after rook a6. So actually it does matter. It's good that rook c6 was also mentioned, but yeah, it actually does matter. So you have to be. But rook a6 makes more sense instinctively. White sacked the piece, but knight can simply go back. King can go back, and black is winning here. And the last game in their match where Maxime was white, Fabi was black, was this one. Now Fabi improved on his previous Sveshnikov game, where he got a worse position. This time, instead of bishop g7, he took on d5. So, pretty relevant improvement. Knight e7, c4, e4 here, here, takes, castles. And here, white played a move that was not that great, queen f4. Yeah, black took on d5, and white took on f5. What should black do here? Yeah, so again, in the blitz game, probably what happened is MVL might have just expected knight f6 to try to go d5, right? And maybe knight b4 too, but knight b4 we can probably um maybe play a3 or maybe even rook d1, I'm not sure. But yeah, knight e7 is the most natural. Yeah, the point is this very easy to miss backward knight moves. And yeah, a backward knight move was missed, and after yeah, you cannot take it, and now black's pawns are just steamrolling white. And then black is basically winning. And so that was a very strong win for black. Wasn't perfect, but I'll just quickly show you. Yeah, these pawns are just so strong, yeah. And yeah, look at that knight on e2 supported by these pawns on f3, t3, and the poor white king, the poor white rooks. It's just complete domination. White had to like sack the piece. And yeah, just a dominating game by Fabi here. Um Now in the last game that they played, Fabi and the MVL, they reached this position. Now in this game, because of how well Fabi played the previous, games, Fabi just needed a draw in this game to win the match. But here he made a mistake with knight g5. Um, how should black continue here? Again, give more than just the first move. How should black continue here? Okay. Yeah, of course, yeah, we play queen h1. The most natural. And here black did play g6, which is also winning, but as also people mentioned, um F5 or F6, it's like leads to the same thing is even better. They must take. I take back. And now they have to play knight h3, at least try to block in the king. And okay, this might at first seem like okay for white, but here black has a really strong move. And I think this is like easy to miss. As far as I remember, it might even be the only way to win. I'm not 100% sure about that, but this is pretty tough. And in the blitz game, yeah, it's like understandable that black would miss this. Um, so we have a lot of interesting suggestions. Let's see. Mhm. Hold on. All right. Sorry. Someone's uh alrighty. So let's see what we got. Um uh, all right, so yeah, the move is King F7, by the way. Now is it the only move? It's sort of the only clear way to win, actually. And the line is very complicated. So for example, if you play F5 immediately, King H4, this is not that easy. Like because for example, if you go here, there's King H5 suddenly, and then the knight moves, I can go G4. And this is also not winning. So, the king escapes everywhere, right? Like, so it's not winning. You could go Queen G2. It's very tricky to find, in my opinion. Queen D8 and some Queen takes B2, but okay, this is still very, very weird. So yeah, 5 is like maybe winning, but it's like not that efficient. Um, let's see what else. Yeah, if you go King G7 now, I think I can start checking you. And then I also have G4 sometimes. So that's why it's better to not let the king go to H4. It's better to go here immediately. And again, it's just almost impossible to find all of that in Blitz. The point is after, let's say, F5, I take, and I go queen to D1. And king H4, I have knight G6. Queen F3, I have F5. King F4, knight E6. King E3, queen takes B3, and I'm mopping up all the pawns. If king F4, I have knight E6. So yeah, as you could see, it's tricky. And okay, and otherwise I'm threatening F5 next move, and it's sort of not easy to find a move. Maybe queen D8, but yeah, I mean even with the engine it's like not super easy as you could see, but black is winning. Now king G7 um is like not as clear. So queen D6. So what's the difference? That's good to check. Here, you go F5. So what happens after this F5? King H4. And what happens another line? Let's see. This is like actually good to analyze. King H4, have knight G6, King G5 here, and then now the difference is yes, Queen D7, you have knight E7. Yeah, so yeah, no one's gonna find that in the Blitz game besides an engine, right? All of that right ahead of time. Like just no way. So I think it's like honestly, it's very understandable that you play G6, right? Because F5 is winning, but like on the other hand, they go knight H3 and it's not that clear. No, okay, I mean, I think this is an exercise for like masters, like where you get 5, 10 minutes. No, with seconds, it's like to see all of that ahead of time, it's like impossible. You can maybe get a little bit lucky, yeah, but okay. MVL did not find it, which is understandable. So he played G6, still probably winning, knight H3, King G7, Queen D8, knight H7, Queen here, B5, Queen D3, A4 takes, Queen D2, and now F5. And now it is winning again. Because if you take, I take back. So King H4. And now this is where, what should black play here? How does the black win here? Here black made a mistake and ended up being a draw. So yeah, the move is G5 because if we play Queen F3 it was to happen in the game. But then here you can't go here anymore. Queen H7. So if king here, I go queen here. And then after this, okay, white can make a draw. They can actually also win the game with knight G5, queen D7, and king G5. But there is no need to win the game, right? Because white was winning the tournament with the draw. So they just repeated moves. Um, all right, so G5 is best. Yeah, G5, knight F8. And then here. Um, so here, queen F3, and yeah, black is winning. Alrighty. And now we're gonna see another game between Caruana and MVL. And now this one is more interesting because the thing is, um, I actually had 3 games with this in the database with this line. So C5, knight C3. Now the point is if they play B5, there's 95 and there's like some problems. And Queen C7. Now what's interesting is that I had 3 games. In all 3 games, I've played D4. But in my last game I played, I actually wanted to castle, which is what Fabi did in this game, but I confused my lines. And I realized once I played D4, I confused my lines. Um, so I want to look at D4 games first, and then kind of like give you some exercise off of those games. And then we'll see the Fabi game after that. So D4, B5 is like the main move. And here actually, I didn't realize that my recent game, I played bishop F4. But there's also another move I've played, you know, actually turns out all the way back in 2010. And I didn't even remember I did that. So it's kind of funny. Like 15 years ago, I was a much more ambitious, aggressive player than I am now when I played Bishop F4. I was already a GM and I was like higher rated at that point, but I think I was weaker at that time than I am now. But yes, Teddy, yes. That was the Lev game was like a very recent game, but But the other game was against the Russian GM. Um, and there I played this very interesting move, D5. So like I was definitely much more of a brave player back when I was younger, much more optimistic. So hopefully this will re-energize some of that lost youth that I had in the past and will inspire me to play more aggressive chess because it definitely works and I won on something like 18 moves that game. So we'll quickly take a look at that game because I think it's actually pretty instructive. So I played d5, very interesting move. I think knight takes d5 is possible, but then yeah, e4 I have and then it gets interesting. Yeah, so position is equal objectively, but very, very interesting position. He played e takes, which is also okay. I played this. So now, actually, the point of playing d5 is very creative. I didn't realize that back then. Somehow, I played recently just now against Lev, and I didn't even think about this idea. I just played bishop f4. But in fact, this is actually a very creative idea I came up with like a while back. The point is that now I sort of prevent bishop d6. Um, what should white play in this position? 15 years ago. Um, so what should white play here? Okay. Yeah, knight takes d5, of course, and then queen e4, and I'm winning material. So that would have been good. So now, what should my opponent have played? Queen a5 he played was not the best. What do you think he should have played? Yeah. All right, let's see. Um, yeah, it's actually kind of tricky. You know, the GM kind of faltered here. There's only one move that equalizes, believe it or not. Well, I guess there's still queen c6, queen b6, queen d8, queen a7, yeah? You have to think like, yeah, like they're gonna probably play 95 and you want to have no, it's not just the answers. Yeah, it's just the chat. Yeah, it's what you guys are typing in the chat. It's interesting stuff. Um, let's see. Um, all right, yeah, so it is queen b6 actually. Yes, I do know what it means. I learned like a few days ago actually. Um, okay, so let's see. Um, yeah, so queen a7 runs into actually e4. And if d4, then we have knight d5. And then, yeah, this is a bit of a problem, actually. Okay, what I guess the question is, what do you play? Because this is hanging, right? If this like opens up, it's like pretty bad. And here we have knight d5 and castles, right? And it's actually very hard to to untangle here without taking on d5. But if you take on d5, you also can't untangle very easily. But if you play queen b6 and I play e4, and I go d4, knight d5, takes. I have bishop d6 then. That's the big point. That's the big idea. And if queen e4, you go king d8. Yes, it's not easy. Very much not easy. So like honestly, like I think like this move also posed a lot of problems. Because okay, I mean, you know, right away he has to make choices how to deal with this pawn, and now it's like easy to blunder. Yeah, it's like so many bad moves. He had to find specifically, and if here, by the way, queen e6 is pretty nice. That's also pretty cool. Um, all right, so he played queen a5 and castles here, e4, knight e5, here, e4, a3. E4 is also good, by the way, but here I just trapped this queen in the middle of the board. So it was like an 18 move game or something like that. Um yeah, so as you could see, I mean these positions are very tricky for black. Oh, and also some of you might have already seen this game, but this game was like a game I played against Lev Schengen recently, where I played instead of d5, which maybe is like more interesting. Played here. And he played queen b6. I guess if he goes here, I had some ideas. I think it's like takes 94 is a little annoying. And it's a little hard to untangle. So he played queen b6, which is good. And here actually it's not that easy. Um, and I was pretty happy with what I found during game, how to pose some problems. Like objectively, I'm not better, but how to even pose some problems. Because like if I'm not careful, I could be worse. Like if I let him go bishop e7 and castle, like black is pretty comfortable. So um yeah, so what should white play here? Again, not just one move, but kind of like the follow-up's pretty important here. What should white play here? Knight a4, that's it's surprising. All right, so I think Oscar Zoffer got it. Maybe some other people earlier got it as well, but yeah, 95 we should play. 95, bishop b7 takes d5. Alice Shen also, yeah. Okay, I think, yeah, there might have been some other people, yeah. Just like hard to keep track of the chat. But yeah, yeah, I think everything else doesn't really amount to much, right? Because like what else? If this bishop takes c5 and bishop b7 is like comfortable, right? Like I'm attacking here. Castle long like looks very dangerous. King is like, bad position. Here, bishop b7 is also pretty comfortable for black. So 95 I thought is the best way to create chances. Now we're threatening this ideas. And after this, I played this. And here, this is where Lev made a mistake. Um, let's see if you guys could play a better move here. What should we play with black? Well, sorry, actually not. Sorry, it's not here. Knight f6, e4. Sorry, it's this position. This position. Yeah. Yeah, so he played before, and then I got better position thanks to light squares. As we'll see later, but what should black play? It's actually not so easy again. Like there was only one move that really equalizes. Yeah, so I think people are getting it. Yeah, I think in e5, I don't know, like can't I that seems a little over ambitious, yeah. But also castles, yeah, probably it's also very risky. Your king's very weak there. Yeah, c4 is the right idea. Activating the bishop and then castling. Like bishop e7, you have problems after castles d6. So c4, however, activates your bishop and you get like fair share of counterplay here. Um, so yeah, he played before, and now from there on, I was able to win a pretty nice game. So it's knight a4. Here takes bishop b3, securing the light squares. A5 f3. I probably didn't even have to play f3, right? I could have played knight b2. Because f3 potentially became a little bit of a weakness, but okay. I played very technical chess. Um, and here, yeah, I played knight d6. Here, queen c4. So I'm starting to target the weakness. Wait, where did you find that uh photo? That was so long ago. Uh that's me when I was, I think, 13. Um okay. Yeah, knight f8. Uh knight f8. Um let's see. Knight f5. And then he played bishop f6. And I played sorry. I played e5. And takes and then here he played queen f3 because yeah, if this we have rook takes d8, so queen takes, rook f1, and now he played queen h5, after which I win by force. So we have this here, 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 and then rook e1, a rook e8. Yeah, and then yeah, I won in a couple of moves here. But I think the better try would have been Queen C3 for him. And the question is, how should White um win here? Yeah, believe it or not, I used to play Fabio all the time when we were both kids. It's like when we were both kids around the same level, I used to beat him all the time, but then it has changed quite a bit since he became a professional 2800. Now he beats me in every US championship, so it's, you know, just goes to show like if you have someone's number as kids, it's doesn't mean so much, you know, as long because there's always a chance, you know, for someone else to really grow as a player. So yeah, as a kid, yes, I had his number very much so, yeah. But it changed now that when once we became both GMs. So so what should White play here? So yeah, there's two moves to consider mainly. Yeah, e takes or queen c4. If you go queen e4, I play rook d8, I think. And yeah, rook d8, e takes, I take here. It's like not so clear. Can go here, but here black could still kind of fight. So e takes f6 is correct. Queen takes c4. Now we have a main choice between knight e7 and f7. During the game, I was actually not sure what I was gonna play. Okay, he ended up playing Queen h5, which was not as good of a practical try, but during the game I was actually debating between these two moves, and there's a good chance I might have actually played the wrong one because I was just not sure. Um, well, Fabi, yeah, Fabi, no, it was because I put in my games in the same place as Fabi's games. That's why I copied them into the because they had the similar opening. That's why I kind of put in my games in that as well. Um, so we have to determine should we play f7 or should we take on c4? Yeah, I mean 97 you win a piece, but then you're giving them a lot of they're gonna get two pawns, so they're gonna get counterplay on the queen side. f7, they'll play king h8. B takes c4 takes on if f5, and you have to evaluate if you have anything there. So yeah, you have to determine whether you're playing f7 or 97. Very important. Like one of them wins and the other one does not win, actually. This is a very important difference. No, but the thing is, like, if you just put if you're just putting f7 or 97 without any variation, it's just a 50-50 guess. Yeah, you have to actually try to attempt to justify with the variation. Um, hmm. All right, so I think Vihan got it. I think maybe some other people got it. Yeah, so f7 here takes here. And now the important move is bishop d6. Because if you go here, there's rook a7. That was the problem I saw. But I didn't actually see bishop d6. Well, or maybe I saw it, but I wasn't sure after b3. Like here I am threatening rook e1. I am preventing this. But I saw b3 and I wasn't sure. But it turns out I still have enough after rook b1. Like my bishop with the pawn are just too strong. And maybe I won't win a piece, but actually I probably will, right? Because I'm gonna take here, I'm gonna go here and here. Honestly, after b3, I wasn't sure. I mean, I might have like been afraid of that during the game. And I also, to be honest, I thought 97 is winning, but then I realized, but then the engine showed that actually I'm not quite winning because the problem is that my knight on c6 is just very misplaced. And after he plays like king e8, it's actually very tricky. There's counterplay. He has two pawns, and my knight on uh c6 is very misplaced, right? So definitely, I told Lev after the game he definitely should have played queen c3 because queen h5 allows me a very straightforward win. But queen c3 would have at least made me calculate. And yes, there's 97, but it's not that clear cut. And f7 would have been tricky to find. So yeah, so it would have been interesting if he played it, but thankfully for me he didn't, and I just won. All right, now we're gonna actually look at the Fabi game. So in the Fabi game, Fabi castled first. He didn't play d4. And actually, the point of that is that now with b5, you probably play a4. You don't even play for d4, and now you might even play d3, 493, something like that, to bring the knight to c4. So the guy played b6, MVL that is, and white responded with the move d4. Black played bishop b7. And here, I think bishop f4. I remember this was my prep, which I forgot. Something like this. And then like to try to play 4. Like this was actually what I reviewed before the game against Lev, but I misplayed with the move order. I mean, d4 is still an okay move, as I've shown you, but I kind of forgot my move order. So after bishop d6, I think bishop d6 was not the best. I think he should have taken on d4. And then b5 and try to go here. So again, not easy to catch these nuances in a blitz game. So bishop d6, takes, bishop g5, castles, takes here. And then here, actually, black made a mistake. Again, blitz game, so things happen. Why is this a mistake? What should white play here? Yeah, so before knight d5, of course. It was a very nice idea. Here also knight d5. Um, yeah, so this is very strong. Before, sorry, knight e4, knight d5. Essentially, white is winning here, but okay, it wasn't so clear. Like there's he still was a little bit in the game, even a little bit later. So let's just see how it went. Yeah. Like here, for example, knight takes a5 was like a little inaccurate. Bishop takes a3, rook here. Um, rook g5. And what should white play in this position? So queen d4, some people are saying, but I don't think we're winning, yeah, because king g8 and it's not so clear. Queen c6 is a little unnatural, right? Because it seems like, well, we're trading queens, but it actually, the end game is very unpleasant for black. Probably winning, right? Because good knight against, like, not a great bishop, a very bad pawn structure. And at the very least, like, there will be a lot of suffering for black. But, yeah, white played queen d2. And now, what should black play in this position? Yeah, so queen e4 is correct, actually. Yeah, rook b5 is interesting. I see a lot of people said rook b5, but rook b5 I can maybe move the rook away and still we're kind of suffering. But after queen e4, yeah, centralizing the queen, yes, it's a nice point, yeah. And there's just, black actually gets good counterplay here, surprisingly. You're attacking the rook. There's like sometimes bishop b4 ideas, depending on where the rook moves, and yeah, it's like actually black got all the way back in the game here, but I think there's also if rook a1, now you play rook b5. It's like a nice point. Maybe bishop b2 and stuff. Okay, blitz game, black missed it. White consolidated. And from here on, yeah, white won the game. Yeah, and black blundered this rook c4, and yeah, it was game over. Yeah, I actually plan to show a lot of other stuff today as well, but okay. I think this even this match between Maxime and Fabio was enough for a class. So hopefully you guys enjoyed these games. We'll probably see some more of like high level games later this month. We won't have a class next Monday because of Columbus Day. Uh but yeah, there will be another one on 20th and 27th, and I'll be teaching you guys all month. So actually, yeah, it was good point. It was well, it was 7 games, yeah. 5 games of Fabi and 2 of mine, yeah. Good point. All right. See you all next time. Uh uh hmm. Yeah, a lot of math stuff now going on in the chat. Yeah, it's too much for me. All right, see you see you next time. All right. Wait, Steve, please no spamming. Otherwise, yeah, that's okay. All right, see you. See you guys.